Welcome to Tahu Talks, where we dive into the rich tapestry of Ngāi Tahu whānau. Meet Juanita Hepi, mana wahine, creative native, indigenous Rāpaki princess. Here she shares her mātauranga, ringa tuhi, and art that weaves culture into the everyday. Join us as we explore how art heals, empowers, and connects us to whenua, iwi, and futures yet to be imagined. This is Tahu Talks, sharing stories that matter with heart, humility, and huamara, growth. Let the stories begin. E te marae kura, Juanita Hepi. Nau mai haramai ki tēnei, ko Ngāi Rangi. Welcome to Tahu Talks. Thank you so much for being here today.
Kia ora, thank you for having me.
So, as I said before, I was having a chat with someone and your name popped up and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get her in here. She is perfect because you do wear a lot of different pōtai. You've been a part of a lot of different kaupapa, and I think you're very well known in the theatre arts space. So thank you so much for agreeing to come here today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I like nothing more than talking about myself.
And on that, tell me about your upbringing. Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Christchurch is, the narrative out in the world is that it's this Pākehā space, eh? And so often throughout my life, people have been like, oh, what part of the North Island are you from?
Yeah.
And I'll often say, oh, like Tuahiwi or Rangiora. And you see their faces be like, because they realise I've just politicised you, eh? Yeah, and that has made me even stauncher to my tahutaka. So I was born and raised in Ōtautahi. This is where my mum is from. Rāpaki, we're all Rāpaki. Well, my partner is like, my Rāpaki princess, because, they like to say that. And I don't have the heart to tell them that we're all Rāpaki princesses. Our tāne, our wahine, our tamariki, our kaumātua.
Yes.
So that's the marae that I was privileged enough to go back to a lot. There in Tuahiwi, where my grandmother, Priscilla Stone, was brought up a little bit. And going back to Rāpaki, but interestingly enough, I was actually raised in St Albans. But have moved to sort of the east side, where so many of us moved to describe myself like a haututu, an indigenous. I like to be in all the spaces, a mama to 3 tamariki, a sister of 8 or 7 siblings. Lots of different mama and papa. My mum is from here, and then my dad is from Te Tai Tokiro. So he is Ngā Puhi, Ngāti Wai and Ngāi Te Rangi. And then mama is, Tahu from here. And most of us will whakapapa back to either the Chatham, so we're also Moriori, Ngāti Mutunga, through Parihaka. And then her father, David Stone, was from Te Rangi, so he's Ngāti Kahungunu.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's the whakapapa, that's who I am, and that's the intergenerational voice that I carry in my life. Yeah.
Oh, we're beautiful. I love the way you speak, eh? Who was your biggest influence in life?
Do you know what? And I have heard some of my cousins on this podcast. Like I was listening to Kylie Jane talk about the wooden table in our wharikai in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And them smoking and stuff. And so that table is like representative of so much of who I am, because it was often wahine Māori and they would just tell all these stories, eh? So I was really heavily inspired by them. And sometimes I didn't want to be in that kitchen.
Yeah.
But Mum was like, you have to stay here.
Yeah.
This is, the cousins would go off and do cool things and I would have to stay in the kitchen and be given a job or not, but always listening. And they were talking about everything. They were talking about the marae, whakapapa. They were talking about politics. They were talking about what I call politics.
Politics.
So it's politics, but it's at the pa, right? So it's a different type of it's politics. Some of them are like 120-year-old fights.
Wow. All the tea.
Oh, yeah, exactly. With a kapu tī. So I would say that wahine Māori have always been my biggest inspiration, because I've also been my biggest supporters. And when I'm in a room full of wahine Māori, They are such joyful spaces, and also they lead in all the spaces. They may not be up front and centre, but they are definitely there. But weirdly enough, I've always been a bit of a nerd, and so when we were young, we didn't have a television. We were quite poor, which was normal in the 80s for a lot of our whānau, or a lot of Māori whānau, These are all kind of, it's the intergenerational continuation of colonialism. But, we had lots of books. So I went to a Catholic school, St Mary's on Manchester, and then we had books, like my mum was quite interested in lots of religion, so I was reading about Buddhism and Hinduism, and then she had lots of books on like philosophy, so Plato, Freud, Nietzsche. So I was reading all of this stuff, going back to the marae, going to church, and then my whānau is huge. Yeah. So my mum is one of 10. Yeah. One of the oldest of 10, and then my dad is the youngest, the pepe of 23 kids.
Oh,
yeah.
23.
Yeah. I think that my grandmothers are both like amazing.
Wow.
They're both kua mate. But and to grow up in these like in the middle of the bush with all these kids. Yeah. So you have kind of one of everything. So I think I was always destined to be a storyteller. I think Māori and Indigenous around the world are storytellers. It's a part of who we are. And and then introduced all these interesting concepts about human nature. And so I really fell in love with language and words and story and relationships. Yeah. And again, being Māori is about being in relation with your whānau, in relation with this table, the mauri of these lights, you know? Yeah, so what was the question again? I just went off, la.
Nah, that was beautiful because you mentioned, you grew up poor, but I don't think you did after what you just shared.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And you're right, I should preface that with financially poor. Yeah, but I feel so wealthy. I feel super privileged to grow up by the marae and to keep going back, to know those cousins and those relationships, to feel deeply connected to that whenua. Yeah. Yeah, and also with all of these words and this knowledge I feel deeply privileged and deeply wealthy, like our wairua, our tinana. The other thing about like when you don't have heaps of putia is that your food is quite good as well. Yeah. Like,
we're very
meat and veg
with our kind.
Not a lot of junk food and stuff like that, eh? Yeah. So, and lots of walking. Yeah. So, kind of good as well. Yeah.
Yeah, growing up for us, fish and chips was like a treat. Yeah. That was like our big takeaways. And other than that, we had like, minced stews, steak stews, or like roasts on a Sunday, So
and still my favourite kai as well. Yeah. Boy, like if I'm sick, I just want boil up. Yeah. I just want good, healthy kai. Yeah, nourishing kai, eh?
Yeah, and when my toa passed too, because one of her dishes she loved making was curried sausages with mashed potatoes, And as kids, we were like, oh, no, not curried sausages again. Like, because you could smell it, like, before you even hit the front door, man. You know that aroma coming from the whare as we arriving from school. But the minute she passed, all of us mokos were like, man, I'd do anything for Toa's curried sausages right now.
Did you have to peel the skin off the sausage?
Yes. Off the base budget, basic, no flavoured sausages as well, because it was the curry and the juice that added the flavour, to the kai. Yeah. So, small things like that you take for granted, until 100%. Those loved ones are gone, and then that's all you want.
And I'm reminded of that too. And so I'm pretty naughty. I'm like my dad still takes the bones out of my fish, right? But my kids are my tamariki are learning to do these things. So last night, my oldest, who's 20, he was watching the kids and they were saying, I was like, the kitchen is a mess. And they were like, yeah, because he got up and made fry bread. So they are learning to do the things. My daughter is out there getting the watercress.
Beautiful.
to carry on those traditions. But it's more than that, eh? It's about identity. It's about belonging. It's about connecting with te taiao. Which for our tamariki is getting harder and harder.
Times have definitely changed, compared to, how we grew up. I love hearing the kōrero about how identity was just instilled into you from a young age, going back and forth from your marae and coming from a big whānau as well, always staying connected to your whānau, to your hapu, to your marae. What type of other occasions did you go to the marae for other than tangihanga? Like what used to happen in Rāpaki back in the days?
Like everything. It was like birthdays and book launches and like manuhiri from all over the place, and we would just go out there for we still go out there for like barbecues or just to hang out with the whānau. I remember the tangihanga a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's also the memories stick harder inside you as well. Because it was also the old wharia back then as well.
Yeah.
So the wharia was leaning and it was kind of, I don't know, I look back and I'm like, I miss the wharia a little bit because the nostalgic memories are attached to that.
Yes,
Yeah, and, I call, it's probably naughty, but I call Rāpaki the resort.
Oh, yeah. Well, funny you say that.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel the same as you for Tuahiwi marae. All my memories were made in the old hall.
Yes.
And the minute they built the new one, this is naughty of me to say too, but I told my toa while she was still alive because they were still building it when she was still alive. She passed away in 2011. And I told my toa, it just seems like it's going to be like a convention centre. They're not even going to put the tupuna, pictures up. It's facing a different way. It's just a complete change to what we were used to, even the materials they were using to build it. So I completely, understand you when it comes to the memories that we hold with the whare that we grew up with.
Yeah, absolutely. And multiple truths can exist in the same space. So I can remember the old whare and feel nostalgic for it and remember that things were maybe not simpler, but just different, I guess, and appreciate the new whare as well. I remember going out to Tuahiwi a lot as well, and I still have vivid memories of watching the Brennans sing and Pounamu Ngāi Tahu rehearsals and the stage, and I remember all of those things as well. And I'm like, we deserve these beautiful new whare as well. Of course we do. And, think about Rāpaki, the little bricks that Auntie Doe I think that she came up with the idea where there's these little bricks and they look like tuku panel at Rāpaki, And basically the whānau from all over were invited in to weave, and then the weaving was wrapped around these little bits of wood and put up on the wall. So there are the new memories that are being made. But there is something about, because it was simpler before, our kids also don't know what that was like and don't have an appreciation for that as well. Yeah, it's when people were not getting paid to be there, and and like I said, I'm not judging. It was just different. Mo te kaupapa. But the world has changed, and so too. Māori are adaptable. Yeah, we're great at it. So I appreciate that. And like I said, all those things exist in the space together. It's complex, it's painful, it's beautiful, it's joyous.
Was te reo Māori, spoken a lot growing up?
Kau, it wasn't. And it was really my mum and my Nana, we called her, not Toa. They grew up in that era where nobody spoke te reo. And when I left, I was lucky I went to Kohanga Reo. Wahine Māori at the helm. Just put that out there.
Which kohanga did you go to?
I can't even remember what it was, but I yeah, I don't remember a lot about it. And the only memory I have is because there's a photo. Yeah, so, photos are often the thing that you have a memory about.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a lot about it. But when I left Kohanga, it must have been one of the only ones around. There were, Te Kura Whakapumo it wasn't even around at that point, right? So there was nowhere for me to go. So me and my older siblings all went to St Mary's.
Yeah.
But then Bob,
Yes.
my little brother, and you fellas got to go to Te Kura Whakapumo. Yeah, because it was built later. But I remember reading an article in the press at the time where it was like a letter to the editor, and it was somebody in the area, Waltham or whatever, who was like, I would rather have a prison in my backyard than a Maori school or whatever. So that was the environment or the climate that, the kura was coming into. So even though we had this beautiful kura coming into our community, the first one in the South Island, it also was just surrounded by so much resistance from the community. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of reo. Well, in saying that, Mum always used reo, because Māori have always used kupu Māori. Yeah. So we grew up with a little bit here and there. We were going back to the marae, so we were always around pōwhiri and kapahaka. And so reo was always around me. So I feel really, again, privileged to have had that, because not all of my cousins had that. And then I think on my dad's side, a lot of them spoke te reo Māori, but we all grew up here. Yeah. And my dad was the baby, so he didn't speak a lot of te reo Māori, but he remembers everyone speaking te reo Māori around him. Yeah, and this has also kind of happened in the last sort of 2 decades where the Kai Tahu mita is much more prominent. Yeah. Yeah, and so even listening to my North Island cousins speak their reo, and then my South Island cousins who speak with the K dialect. Yeah. I love the K dialect because there's something interesting about it, and when I am speaking in the Kai Tahu dialect up north at events and stuff, people always kind of shift their attention and focus. And so, it makes me feel special. Yeah. And this is something that is ours. Yeah. Because there was this professor from the university who did this list, and he was the most Māori and the least Māori iwi. Oh, yeah. And so Ngā Puhi and Tuahiwi were at the top of this list, and Ngāi Tahu were at the bottom. And so that became a narrative embedded in society. And so I grew up with that narrative of Ngāi Tahu are not really Māori, and I still think people believe that. Yeah, yeah. So it makes me even more staunch about being Ngāi Tahu and using our mita and telling our stories. I also think that the place you are the stories you should be telling. Yeah. Beautiful! I love that. Now, I am not short for words. Love it.
Who were the people on the pai when you were growing up on the marae? Who do you remember as the upoko, the kai kōrero, the kai karanga?
Do you know what? I don't even remember. My memory is so bad. But there are certain people who stood out to me, and probably because they would have something to do with me. So obviously all of my mum's whānau, so all of the Stones and the Riwai whānau, who, and the other thing is my mum was in the kitchen. Yeah. So we weren't often at the front. Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because I'm a really bad cook as well. And I do not go into it's not a good idea for me to be in the kitchen at Rāpaki. They're go out and do your talking out there. But I do remember, I remember Auntie Te Whare and Auntie Mala, always working, always giving kōrero. I do remember Auntie Doe, but a little bit later as well. I remember a lot of people's faces, but I don't know their names, and I would say that the majority of them have passed away now. Yeah. I remember Auntie Sissy as well, and these were these were people who were just really lovely, kind. I don't even know if they were that kind.
What do you mean?
I think that our aunties were quite grumpy, but kind to me because I think I've always had quite a sort of like a joyful disposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Auntie June, I always remember, some of the couches, like Uncle Donald, but especially Uncle Doug. He was such a huge supporter of mine, and he would put me forward for these leadership positions when I was really little. And I was so bad at it. I was such a hautatu as well. The aroha that our whānau wrapped around us is tamariki. Like, there was nothing more important than tamariki in our whānau. And it's still like that for my whānau as well, where, the world is great because our tamariki are in it. Beautiful. Even though they make me so hoha as well.
Of course.
I'm like, you don't know how good you have it. You don't appreciate me. I worked so hard. And they're like, but can I go on my device?
I know it's like that, eh? Yeah. Like, you don't really see, I was talking with someone about this, you don't see kids, playing touch or back down out on the streets anymore.
No.
Or you don't see the pile of bikes outside your front yard anymore. Like, they're all just on these blinking devices.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything that you do for your tamariki to get them out and about and stuff as a whānau?
Well, we have kind of a rule that I don't always live by, but that...
It's hard, eh?
It's really hard, and because I'm single mumming with my tamariki as well, and their dad lives in Canada, the little ones. But my mum lives with me, a very Māori house,
Yes.
But yeah, I'm kind of like, you go out and do things during the day, and then you can be on your device at night time or whatever. We are trialing a thing where no devices during the week.
Cool.
Yeah, and you see them change, right?
Yeah.
You see that they start to interact better with one another. Because there's the thing, like, where when our tamariki are on their devices, it's kind of the same thing as, like, addictions, right? The brain is doing the same things, so it takes ages for them to... go through withdrawal of these devices. My nieces and nephews are super sporty. Mine are half and half. Sometimes they bike to school, and my kids play ice hockey as well.
Cool.
So they like that, and they've got like a net that they can play with outside. So yeah, but it's funny because I really love running and hiking, but man, getting my kids up the hill, Atticus's face is like bright red and he's crying, so I have to put the headphones on him and just tricks, tricks to get him up the bloody hill. And I'm thinking, I'm telling them the story, your ancestors would have walked these hills, and they're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I hope it sticks in there. Whereas other people's kids are like, oh, yeah. And then my tamariki are like, can we get a boba after this? And I'm like, yeah, okay then.
Crack up. I want to get into talking about the theatre world and your journey, like how you got into that. And obviously, I think I know why, but where did that all start?
Yeah. I always wanted to be a storyteller. I knew that. And it was watching like Pounamu Ngāi Tahu, holding on to the panikoti of our nannies. And because I was too little, Mum was like, you're too little to join the kapaka group. So I just wanted to do that. And we're surrounded by story all the time as Māori, So beautiful, karakia, waiata, all the things. And, and I'm fiercely independent as well and stubborn. I went to high school, but I was pretty bored, and so I left really early. But I think I did my first public show, theatre, when I was 13. And I would go over to Burnside High School after Papanui and do rehearsal. And in that was Bella Kalolo.
True.
Yeah, Tiare Pakahi, a wahine called Atua. And they were all like 18 years old. And so we did this show called Ngā Kōrero o Nehera, and we did it at the Christchurch Arts Festival at the Arts Centre where I now work. And I remember I felt like quite alone, I think, because I'm from quite a sporty family, not a lot of like artists, even though everyone is a storyteller, but no sort of working artists. And so it was kind of weird. So that was kind of a lonely space. But I remember Auntie Ka Daniels saying to me, you keep doing what you're doing, babe. You keep doing it. And that stuck with me. Like, at least there is someone who supports me. Yeah. And then my Auntie Hirana and my mum was like, I don't really know what you're doing, but just go and do it. So she was not discouraging. I'd rather you be a lawyer. I'd rather you be a doctor, but I know that you're going to do what you want to do. And then my Auntie Hirana would put me into like a drama class for the school holidays, or they sent me off to ballet for a little bit. So they'd send me off to these kind of like Eurocentric art spaces. So I was able to kind of sit in these worlds, and then was doing a little bit of theatre, travelled around a little bit with tours, and then I ended up having Manu, who's the oldest, who's now on What Now? And I was 23, and I just thought I want a better life for my son. I was on the benefit and kind of mucking around, and I was like, I want more. So I decided to go back to school. I went to Hagley Theatre Company, didn't like it. I mean, all the things that sit in those spaces, the racism, the misogyny, the sexism, like all the stuff that sits on the edges that you don't know is there, but is impacting your ability to thrive in these spaces. And so then I applied for Toi Whakaari, and I got into Toi Whakaari. Yes. And that was probably a big career changer for me, because it introduces you to the right people, teaches you all of I mean, it was still super Eurocentric. I don't think we did any New Zealand plays when I was there. But it introduced me to the world of theatre, film, television, and the networking that you need to make it in this industry. And so, that's what I did. And then I did a couple of things. I made some films and went over to London and performed. And
you say it so casually too, like, I did some films, went overseas, you know.
I know, I feel a little bit, because, I mean, it's a privilege to be in those spaces as well. But
it's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And it's also, those are the sorts of things that help me to do the thing that I really want to do, which is the mahi I do today. But there was also something about some of these plays I was doing, the characters were problematic. Yeah. And
how so?
Well, I did a play where it used the N word.
Oh, true.
And the characters I played were often kind of hypersexualized, violated, wahine Māori. And so the stereotypes, and I thought, I don't really want to tell these stories, but I do want to pay my bills, and I do want to keep doing what I love. So it's the border, right? That you straddle. And so I started to question the work that I was doing a lot. And then also there was something about what I now call, this fame and fortune world, which a lot of actors aspire to live within, is also at the heart of the billion-dollar capitalist industry, right? It's kind of like the show pony for those things. So just being a little bit more hyper-aware. Somebody was like, not everything is meaningful. And I'm like, everything is meaningful to me. Like everything has got a deep kōrero about it. Things have meaning because humans ascribe them meaning. Yeah, so I was questioning all of this and still working in the industry. And then I started having my, I had Nixie, and my partner at the time was like, I think we need to settle down. So we came back to Christchurch, and I was like, I'm never going back to Christchurch. I hate Christchurch. And then I came back, and I actually studied to be a teacher.
True.
Yeah, so I taught in Aranui for 7 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you teach drama?
No, I started off at Aranui Primary School, and I was just teaching like year 0 to 1s. And then I sort of moved through the ranks, and then ended up at Haiata, because it was that that was a really horrible time for the community. But I just wanted to move with our tauira so that they would have something grounding, because it was such a chaotic time.
Yeah.
So I moved over to Haiata, and that was crazy. My kids are still there. All my kids have been through there.
True.
Yeah, but I was like, this is exhausting work.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're quite censored in that mahi as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I went to do my master's. And again, so I keep doing these things that like transition me through life and through the world. And then I'm birthed out into this new space with new ideas about the world and new ways of being in the world. And as I go through all of those, it's kind of like our stories where, I'm thinking about the story of Hinea Te Ao moving through all of these spaces until she gets to the House of Tū Kainanapia, which is a story that Matiaha Tiramorehu wrote.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what it feels like. As I move through all these spaces, I get more clarity and I feel more grounded. I feel more like myself. And there's a certain amount of comfort within that, because when I think about myself at 13, I have so much aroha for that Juanita. So ragey, pretty angry.
Yeah.
Angry at the world, very sad, and still joyful, but also just a different, and not an unknowing Juanita, not knowing what all these edges were, because now I can name them. That is racism, that is sexism, and you go, oh, it's not me. These things are imploding on me. Yeah, and I can hold them, or I can nurture them, or whatever you want to do. And so I did my master's in Māori and Indigenous leadership. Yeah, that was brilliant, because I realised that I was writing about mana wahine as a methodology.
Beautiful.
And connecting in with Indigenous community and being quite a bougie native as well.
Yeah.
And then starting to question that, because when I was in New Mexico, there was a older native man who, in New Mexico, they call themselves Indians.
Yeah.
So, and they laugh about it because they're like, it reminds us how stupid the white man were when they came here because they thought they were in India. So we actually don't mind the word Indian. So that's what they call themselves there. It's different wherever you go. But he said to me, I was at an event that they were having, and he was like, I wish that I could afford to travel. And so just your privilege every now and then, you're reminded of it.
Yeah.
And so it just made me want to work more with my community and to really reassess my life and how I looked at myself. And we always talked about the masters as like a big life transforming. So lots of us leave our partners, which I did. Or get new jobs or like total transformations. And I think because you are given permission to learn about yourself, write about yourself, and then to look at the impacts of, let's say, colonization, and then go, well, what are the solutions then? If one of the issues of coloniality is that wahine Māori continue to not believe in themselves, what's the solution? Well, to believe in yourself. So that's a kōrero that I will put out there all the time, like believe in yourself. Sometimes we only have ourselves to say that as 100%, well.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, not all of us are growing up with aunties and nannies and by the marae. Some of us are growing up in really Pākehā communities. Yeah. Some of us are growing up on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so finding the solutions. And so that was another big transition. And so now, today, I just call myself a storyteller, story maker, story weaver. I work, I did some music videos with Marlon Williams out at the Marae, our whanauka from Moiraki. I directed some of Billie Jean's music videos, and we got to be really weird and arty. I run Te Whare Tapere in the middle of Te Matatiki Toiora, the Arts Centre, which is a Māori and Indigenous house of storytelling. I've just done a bunch of events for Tirama Mai. I launched the Word Festival last week, just doing some kind of like poetry, kōrero, host panels. For me, I don't care what the form is. It could be dance, it could be music, it could be kapaka. What I am interested in is the story. Who's telling the story? Where is it being told? When is it being told? Why are we telling the story? So deeper questions that give me a sense of fulfillment. Yeah, and I am like, if that's not you, if you want to go straight to Hollywood with old taika, then kei a koe. Māori excellence can be viewed in so many different ways. But for me, it's about empowering and uplifting wahine Māori, first and foremost. I think that if we heal wahine Māori and we repair the relationships we have with wahine Māori, the world will be better. Indigenous women across the world, because that relationship is really tenuous at the moment. We've seen a lot of that in politics at the moment and the narrative coming out. Yeah, so where are our strategies to keep wahine Māori safe? And for me, one of them is in the storytelling world. Is to being here with you. I feel really, really lucky. Really, really, really lucky.
Thank you.
Did you? I don't think you've spoken at all.
No.
I think I've just been
It's not about me. No, it's good. It's not about me. It's about you.
It's about us.
No, this is perfect. So much for me to reflect on from that kōrero. First of all, it's so weird that you mentioned he nea te pō, because literally last night I picked up this book that's been sitting in my cupboard for like over a year, Te Waiatatanga Mai o Te Atua by Matiaha. And I was like skim reading through it last night. I don't know why I picked the book up, but I've been a part of this wānanga with Uncle Morris Manawatu.
Oh, beautiful.
Another storyteller, another great storyteller.
Yes.
And, you know, he was sharing a bit about hine ātepo and hine āteao, is it?
Yeah.
I saw the book there. I was like, oh, that's the book that, you know, Uncle Morris was talking about. Skim read it. And then here you are today mentioning it as well.
Wow.
Like a lot of the kōrero you've been saying actually aligns a lot with me. Like I've either experienced the same as you or I think the same as you or we're on the same paths. Like we're doing the same things, which I think is so beautiful. Your kōrero about wahine and how we uphold them, how we protect them. I'm also reading a thesis about atua wahine.
Oh, yeah. Nahuia.
No, it was a lady that came after her. Ataria Rangi Hikiti or something like that.
Oh.
But I know that the Ngā Huia, she was one of the first wahine to write a thesis about atua wahine. And then there was this other wahine who went to Massey Uni, and I'm reading her thesis. But I didn't know that there was Ngā Huia's one before her. So I'm reading her one first, and then I'll go back and read Ngā Huia's, because a lot of her mahi references Ngā Huia's mahi.
Yeah.
I was at a wānanga and we were talking about how we grew up learning about all the atua tāne, but where were the atua wahine? Where were all of our pūrākau?
Exactly.
Where were all of our kōrero? So I was like, I'm going to go do my own research.
Yeah.
Came across this thesis, then came across this puka that's been sitting in my cupboard like from a year ago that Uncle Morris mentioned the weekend just gone. Now you just mentioned now. Because there would have been a balance, you know. Te taha whatukura and te taha marae kura. You can't have just one gender without the other. They would have had partners, sisters, aunties, mums. Where are they?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know.
Rātou.
Yeah.
Ai. Yeah, well, kei konei.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like I'll say this stuff, but it's all just one voice through time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's also why when I talk about Rakai Hotu, I'll often talk about Waiariki o Aio and her husband.
Yeah.
You know, and their daughter-in-law, Tapuiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to rebalance the narrative. All the research I've done, it looks as though ira tāne, ira wahine, ira tangata, we're a part of all people.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
if that's how our people thought, then what is it to be Māori today? Yeah, surely it is remembering those sorts of metaphorical ideas and that are actually inside us physically as well. Yeah, so important.
Yeah.
Our wahine asa. That's so cool. I love that. Wairua vibing.
Straight up. And I think, like, this is a tohu, you know, it's not a coincidence the people I invite to come and talk with me
Yeah.
on these episodes.
And the timing of the thing.
Like,
Yeah. Hara.
the tupuna definitely run this podcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know. I'm always thanking them. I'm like, thank you for this.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like how you mentioned before, you know, you've been through different stages or experiences in your life that have led you into new spaces. That is 100% what has happened for me in my life too. I've been in certain situations or experiences where I don't know why I'm there,
Yeah.
but then it ends up leading me into something better.
Yeah.
Or down a path that I probably wouldn't have explored had I not even been in that space, first of all. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, we're so alive.
I love
together.
that. Yeah, that's it. I think that sometimes when I look back, I'm like, I never would have imagined that this would be my life today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was thinking about like mana wahine, and I was thinking about this funny thing because sometimes like wahine Māori, because we're always doing the mahi, we're quite serious, you know, and we're like, and this and organising, da-da-da-da. And I remember saying to my mum one time, I was talking about mana wahine, and she goes, yeah, mana wahine this, mana wahine that, I'm sick of mana wahine. And I was like, oh, well, you're a mana wahine, you and your sister. She's like, yeah, I know that. But just like, there's so much joy in the fact that we have to have these hard kōrero as well.
Yeah.
And our own people are the best ones at being like, well, bring it down my peg, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel super supported, and also I love the tell-offs. My niece was also talking about being told off. She's up in Tūhoe country, her whakapapa, and telling me about some of the tell-offs.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just reminding each other how important those tell-offs are as well, because it also decenters you from romanticising all of this kōrero. Like, I live in this like ethereal space. No, this is practical. I'm not telling that story. It's not my story to tell. Always uplift wahine. Yeah.
Beautiful. So this would be a great segue into what you've brought with you today.
Okay. I'm going to do it all in one go.
Okay.
I bought a few things. So the first of all is I bought you some presents.
Why? Okay.
Well, and because
I'm
it also
interested.
gives me an opportunity. First of all, I bought you a bunch because I know you have tamariki and nieces and nephews, but these are a bunch of colouring in books.
Oh, cool.
They are by a beautiful artist called Maungarongo Ron Te Kawa. Yeah, and he is an artist that we had at Te Whare Tapere who he did a residency over in the Arctic Circle and was working with the Indigenous people. And so he told the story about the godwit, the kuaka, which travels from here to the Arctic Circle every year.
Oh, yeah.
And unlike most seabirds, it doesn't take a break. So it just flies consistently. And so he's a fabric and textile artist. He really is about joy. And so he'll talk about the hard things, but he makes these beautiful pieces.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
My babies love colouring in too.
Oh, yeah,
especially my
great.
girl.
I know. Well, I bought one enough so that you could have one as well. But
Yeah,
just
thank you.
super beautiful. And the kōrero is really beautiful.
Thank you.
Then because I work at Te Whare Tapere, I thought I'd better bring you some tea towels.
Yeah, tea towel taga. Let's go.
And then somebody was like, why would you have white tea towels? And my answer to that is so that you know that people are doing the mahi.
I knew that. I knew the answers.
This is a little peke. 3 fights a day, peke.
3 fights a day. Now, I have seen you talk about this, but for those who haven't, hea te tikanga o tērā kianga.
So it's Auntie Juanita's whakatauki, and it is basically because I know so many of you are out there fighting the good fight, but also you've got to conserve your energy. So 3 fights a day. So like in the mōtiatia, when you can't just sing the whole way through, you have to take a breath and make sure that, and you know that other people are going to take up singing the mōtiatia, so it's consistent. Same with 3 fights a day. There'll always be somebody there. I mean, we have come so far as Māori, like a long time fighting, but a long time creating sovereign spaces. So conserve your energy. Sometimes 1 fight is 3 fights. So there's that. And my colleague got that made up. It's got my signature on it, which is really weird. But
Yes.
and so they are he koha.
Thank you.
And then the final thing I brought in is my grandmother, my dad's mum, Waihemunga cook. It's a copy of her journal. And it's, I love it because it's got her 23 kids' names in it, their date of births, and it's also got the Ngāti Wai maramataka in it. And I like it because it reminds me that a lot of our stories, probably over 80%, and this is sort of the kōrero that goes around, 80% of Māori stories and knowledge is in our homes.
Yeah.
So you won't find this at the library or in archives. It really is in my whare. And most of us have these sorts of taonga as well. So, yeah, that's what I brought in.
That's beautiful. I want to mihi to your nan, who is in the room right now.
Yeah.
What a taonga to have as well, especially a maramataka.
Mm-hmm.
So have you, as a whānau, gone through this?
A little bit, but we're just, we have a lot of questions, and I think to get them answered, we have to, kua hoki atu ki te taitokero, ki whangaruru. We're going to have to go back and ask our whānau the questions, because we didn't grow up with them. So, everyone will have a little bit of knowledge, I think.
Did you grow up with your nan?
No, because my dad was the baby, my grandfather was born in 1899.
Oh.
Yeah, so like my oldest cousins are so old that they're dead. I shouldn't laugh, but I mean, it's just because they're so old.
Should have made that.
And they are with me. But yeah, they, born in like in like 1915 and stuff, my oldest cousins. Yeah, so I didn't grow up with Waihemunga, and my dad's dad passed away maybe before I was born. Yeah. And then his mum passed away not long after I was born. And purely because he was the baby,
Yeah.
Of 23 kids.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I just can't even.
Yeah. I can't even. I had 2. That's
like
enough for me.
Kupu. Yeah. I don't even want to think about that.
No. So, what you got coming up in your life? Any kaupapa?
Yeah. I'm really excited about the Word Festival coming up at the end of August, September. There is a lot of brown work in there. I'm doing a panel called Indigijoy.
Indigijoy.
Yeah, with Tina Makareti, Ariana Tikau, and Dominic Guerrera, who is an Australian Aboriginal writer and artist. So we're going to do that panel, and there is heaps of cool mahi on, so you can go online, check that out. Also, there's a couple of film festivals coming up, and there is one film that I want to go see that Chelsea Winstanley, it's a doco, and she basically is following Nigel Burrell. He curated, I think it was called Toi Tu Toi Ora.
Oh, yeah.
It was this beautiful Māori exhibition. He curated it, he opened it, and then not long after that, he left, and he talked about it being because of institutional racism. And so the documentary follows his journey, so you kind of get to be a fly on the wall and see how he's, like propping up these Māori stories and Māori artists and storytellers, and at the same time having to fight the very system who is really trying to culturize us, right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just have the kapahaka version of you? Why do we have to have these? I mean, I'm assuming that it's something like that. So yeah, the film festival, there's Doc Edge Festival, there's always Māori, Pacifica, Indigenous work in there, Word Festival. Yeah, and big shout outs to like Browntown and Te Wā, Moana Wā, who are some of our creative organisations around Ōtautahi who, 10 years ago we had none of this.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
it was always us at the marae taking work out into the world. But now we have some spaces. Yeah.
Yes, like what are those spaces?
Yeah. And also, I'm looking forward to having a bit of a rest as well. Because, man, matariki was intense.
True.
Hopefully one day we'll all be able to rest at matariki time.
Well, this was the first year. I didn't do anything. I didn't have to MC anything, be a part of any.
Goodness.
I was able to just take my babies to Kaikoura for the weekend and be with them and chill.
Oh my God. Did you make that choice like purposefully?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
You got to be intentional about it, eh?
Yeah. I didn't want to be a part of no big hautapu ceremony or be up at dawn.
Oh
or anything. Like I slept in on matariki and it was great.
Amazing.
Had fish and chips on the beach with the kids. Yeah. We did nothing but just we're together.
I love that. I am going to do, I keep saying I'm going to do it. And then I'm like, I want to be a part of that. I want to do that. I want to interview that cool artist. I want to do that weird performance art thing. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that we get there at some point. Because it's also for Māori artists.
Yeah.
Like it can be like payday, right? Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful to hear, Waiponamu. Inspirational.
Thank you. This has been great. Such a privilege and an honour. The tupuna definitely lined this kōrero up, just like the rest of the kōrero that I've had. I've loved learning a lot more about you. I feel like we're the same. Ko koe, ko au, ko au, ko koe.
Aye.
You know, if you could give a little overview of the story of Juanita Hepi. Like, you know, when you're reading the back of the book and it's giving you like a little insight of what's in the book. Mm-hmm. What would yours say about your story, about Juanita Hepi's story?
Oh my gosh. That's a really... I mean, it's easy because I can say so many things. But to make it little, Rāpaki princess, indigenous, indigijoyous, little bit weird, and one intergenerational voice saying, me aro koe ki te hā o hinea huone.
Yes! I love that. You should actually write a book. Have you ever thought of writing a book?
I've been told that, eh? But man, I'm a slow writer. One day.
Yeah.
One day. Do you know, I want to write a book about the whakapapa of native plants because that is my like the thing that I do on a Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
Is I read books about plants. I go out into the ngahere and then I write up spreadsheets with these plants and their whakapapa stories.
Your Saturday night looks very different to my Saturday night. But I love it.
But also, I am an auntie, so.
True. No, I love it. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. Do you know, the only thing that sucks is usually I would ask a million questions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do one where we all get to come and ask you a million.
Yeah, I was thinking that, eh?
Yeah, or you choose someone who you know, or you can connect into really well and get yourself interviewed because I think that everyone would like to see and hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably will do that one day. Juanita Hepi, tēnā koe te marae kura. Thank you so much again for all your kōrero, for sharing yourself, sharing your whānau, your whakapapa. And I look forward to seeing all the future kaupapa. And if you ever need a main character in any of your future films that you make, you know who to call, cousin.
Oh, yeah. You're already the main character.
Call this Tuahiwi princess.
Yeah. You're first on the list. Actually, you're the only one on the list.
Rawe. And that's a wrap. That is another Tahu Talks episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, push that like button, share it on your socials as well. And I'll catch you on the next episode. See you, bye.